Welcome to our webinar, Learning How to Prevent Stress Eating. Before we get started, our disclaimer: nothing that we're going to be talking about here is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure anything. We're just simply here to share information. We are not offering any medical advice. So I want to welcome everyone. I know we have people from different time zones. I know your time is very valuable, so we welcome you and thank you for spending your time with us. My name is Lynn Morales. If you don't know me already, I'm a naturopathic doctor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, specifically Plano. And I am the owner of Access Complete Wellness, and our website is accesscompletewellness.com. And I do a lot of different things within our practice. Corporate wellness. I use a modality called Body Talk. We do some nutritional counseling as well. So wanted to, again, welcome each of you and encourage you to stick around to the end of this presentation for a free offer for each of you. Just so you know, you can sit back and relax. There are many resources that were used to create this presentation, and the resources are going to be made available to everyone that registered. So you will receive those in a playback email in a few days. So let's get started with our presentation. So while we're all somewhat familiar with the nagging voice of guilt in our heads that accompanies an excessive or indulgent meal, it's another thing entirely to heed that voice and stop while our body is at a comfortably satiated level. Stress eating can be defined, in other words, as emotional eating, or eating to compensate for or as an alternative to dealing with emotions. 20% of adults admit turning to food to deal with stress. And while 34% of these admit it to be a habit. But why do we do it? Well, it's easy to blame external factors, the food itself, the party who provided it, the place in which it was consumed, etc. The real underlying issue with stress eating lies in the lack of awareness of our own bodies, emotions, and our ability to deal with them. That's actually why I love to use my modality, Body Talk. But the majority of the time, stress eating is done at times when the body does not need food. And as the messages between the mind and body get confused and hunger is not the main thing waiting to be satisfied. So I encourage you to check out some blogs on our website, accesscompletewellness.com, particularly on that homepage. There is one that refers to a few things related to weight. And one of them is called, "Is Your Excess Weight Really Your Fault?" Encourage you to read that blog. It is eye-opening. So a couple things to think about. Harvard Health issued a fascinating article which details out some of the reasons that stress causes overeating in adult Americans. And as I mentioned, we're going to pass those resources on to you. So be looking for that. So that article that we talked about, linked in that previous slide, it outlines in the short term, stress can actually prevent hunger cues. Yeah. Exactly. You've been seeing people who lose a lot of weight because of stress. So the hypothalamus, which is in the brain, it produces hormones which suppress the appetite initially. But if the stress continues, the opposite can actually occur. And cortisol, you've probably heard of that, is released in higher levels, and it increases appetite and then causes those encompassed in their stressful episode to block out any other emotions and sometimes even logical thought. And so this is a cue of an episode of stress eating. So the longer the stressful period continues, the more emotional eating a person's going to do. This inevitably leads to weight gain, further hormone imbalances, and an increased risk of more serious diseases down the line, like diabetes, and even cardiovascular problems. In some of our other webinars, we've talked about that in great length. It's a vicious spiral, and it's that once it's entered into, it can be difficult to escape. But fortunately, there are ways to escape these periods of stress and emotional eating. So the first step which you are all doing by attending this event today, is to acknowledge that it has become an issue. So kudos to you. This is often where most people fall down, as their eating habits may fluctuate from periods of having a non-existent appetite and mild stress to intense, stressful, and emotional eating periods. So one of the things we're going to provide to you through the resources, again, is a quiz, a great way to assess your eating habits and why you act the certain ways you do around food. It's pretty long though, so we're not going to share it now. It's going to be in the resources. You can take it yourself later. So cortisol is too frequently associated with that fight or flight mechanism that our bodies have in response to an external threat or stressor. So when we experience periods of extreme hunger and intense stress, this triggers the same response from our cortisol levels. So both of these experiences cause the body to respond in a similar manner, and as such, it's easy to see how the boundaries between one and the other get completely confused. So what's the association here? So similarly, we've grown up getting a stable release of neurotransmitters in the positive areas of the brain whenever hunger cravings are satisfied in a balanced way, and leading to these increased correlations and associations between food and feelings. So recognizing that these thought patterns have formed around the way we view food, we need to start asking ourselves questions like, are we eating purely to feel that rush of contentment, or because our body actually needs it? And this introspection is vital if you are to gain any kind of understanding of your own eating habits. So get to know your stressors. I know it's not a comfortable experience to look your discomfort head on, but it's only way to truly make progress against the damaging habits of stress eating. Even just taking the time to be honest with yourself and write down when you feel overwhelmed by thoughts of overeating or when you automatically turn to food for comfort can be a great way to begin. But once you've initiated and identified the root causes, you can, set to work in minimizing the risks that will happen to you again, so it won't happen, right? So for instance, if you know that you eat when you're lonely, plan to call a friend or write in your journal instead. The more frequently you divert your energy to these alternative outlets for your energy and thoughts, the easier it's going to become to ignore cravings and overindulging. So it can also help to always carry food with you so that you never feel deprived. I like to carry almonds myself. Emotional eating can be your body's reaction to feeling deprived in either a physical or even a mental form. So create new ways to nourish yourself. Stock your fridge with delicious, healthy foods. Pack your calendar with exciting things to do. And be disciplined about setting aside time for yourself to relax. That is so important. So we're going to send you another link on some alternative ways to distract yourself from stress eating. So while it's easy to recommend a stress eater to go ahead and attend a yoga class or start meditating, it takes a little bit more understanding of these activities to truly have that desired effect. So mindful eating, it's a term that's been coined by experts to help those who struggle with emotional eating to remain present and aware for the entire duration of a meal. It sounds like a simple task, but consciously taking and savoring bites of food for each and every meal is a difficult concept, even for those who aren't struggling to overcome emotional eating habits. So mindful eating consists of several easy to follow steps before, during, and after each meal. So why don't we go over those? So before you eat, assess your hunger truthfully. Take time to note your level of hunger before ingesting anything. And also note what kinds of foods would most successfully help fuel your body for the current situation or task that you're facing. Now, during the meal, chew slowly. Take bites. Try to taste every little flavor. A lot of professionals recommend you take a break about 5 to 10 minutes in the middle of your meal. Honestly, I would recommend also that you don't eat in a stressful environment. A lot of people sit down, watch the news, look at their phone, look at all these things that might bring all kinds of stimulus in that may not be helpful for digestion. And then after your meal, Try to view the meal you've just ingested as fuel to help you achieve whatever tasks or work activities you're planning to undertake. So mindfully assess how you feel physically. Note if the food was too heavy, too light, too much, too little, or just enough. And use that information to move forward so you're not allowing regret to surface at all. If the meal wasn't exactly to your satisfaction, use this to help you in planning subsequent meals. So we're going to send you a link on some mindful eating tips. Now, if you have watched any of our other webinars, you know that these two just seem to constantly go together, and that's a good thing. So it's not rare to hear those who complain of mental health difficulties mention diet and a difficult relationship with food, and stress eating is part of the symptoms of their illness that they experience. So recent studies have shown that an overwhelming amount of our positive hormones and enzymes are actually secreted in the gut. And this means that ensuring digestion is at its optimal level should be a priority for those seeking to balance out hormonal and any emotional functioning. So for stress eaters, this could be an interesting place to start considering bad habits and where they may have come from. The emotions causing the stress eating might actually initiate with complex hormonal imbalances. And so regulating digestion should become priority to lower the chances and severity of these imbalances, and slowly returning to a certain amount of control to them in regards to their emotional eating habits. So one thing I'm going to share with you, again, when we do body talk sessions in our practice, one of the things we can look at is actually a weight and metabolism scan. And when we do that scan, we literally are asking your body, hey, is the food you're eating right for you, or is it in the wrong environment or at the wrong time of day? Or is it the wrong supplementation that you're taking that's contributing to weight gain? So there's a lot of different questions that we ask the body and get an answer right from the source, and that's your body. So if your emotions aren't so strong and extreme, then chances are that periods of stress eating won't really be an issue for you either. But I got to tell you, gut bacteria directly affects the brain and the hormones, and it's only in recent years that the studies have proven this. I'm fortunate that the people I work with in the Body Talk community, we've known a lot of this for a long time. And one of the things we actually do in that weight and metabolism scan is we actually can ask your body if the right probiotics are in the picture, if there's gut pockets that need specific help, like in a very specific part of the gut. And we can actually help facilitate that and identify if it's an emotional reason that the gut is having the issue. So I absolutely love the work that I get to do. So let's talk about a couple of techniques to fight stress eating. So combating your stress eating can be extremely difficult. I get it. So one way to face up to the reality of what you're consuming is to make a pact with yourself to write down every piece of food that passes your lips in a food diary. And for people used to ignoring ingesting unhealthy amounts of food in a single sitting, this can be an eye-opener. So take note of when you eat, what you eat, and how you feel before, during, and after you eat it. And after a few days of this, you might notice a pattern in your eating habits, whether positive or negative. And it's definitely bound to make you see some sort of consistency or inconsistency in the way you eat. Now, there's a number of apps available for your iPhone or Android, and they'll help you to track your food intake, your exercise. Very easy to access, very easy to track because most people's phones are with them all the time. And then one of the things we're going to do is, I mentioned we've got a free gift at the end of this webinar that you want to learn about. And one of the things we're including is an app with some of the bigger programs. So just wanted to share that with you. We already have a food or an app available to track all that with you. And the best part is you get to interact with me on that to help coach you through that process. Now, a second technique for fighting stress eating is food prepping. So the frustrating thing about emotional eating is that even good intentions of cooking yourself a healthy meal can sometimes lead to a binge or a period of emotional, unconscious eating, everything that you so carefully prepared, right? So for those who struggle with a little thing called portion control, a great tip to avoid accidentally overeating that healthy meal you spent hours preparing is to enlist the help of some trusty Tupperware boxes, and planning your meals ahead of schedule and preparing some packed meals for when you know you're going to have a busy week at work. It can save you hours of stressing and sweating while you're cooking, and also hours of stressing and digesting, a binge of stress eating, right? So preparing and portioning your food like this at a time when you are not hungry is the best way to avoid the temptation to eat your pre-packed meals in one go. You want to do this, if you're starving, you're going to be, making bad decisions. You're going to say, I'm going to cook a week's worth of lasagna, and instead I'm only going to have enough to eat twice because I was so hungry when I made it and I packed my meals that I packed half the lasagna in 2 different days, and now I don't have enough for the whole week. So these are things to keep in mind when you're doing this portion control. And another thing we're going to be helping folks with in the new year is portion control. Easy ways to lay out your portions to help lose weight and keep it off. So if you feel you've been measuring and analyzing and attempting to change your eating habits to no avail, then it might be that you're simply not taking everything in your life into account as you attempt to change how you eat. So as stress eating is an emotionally charged habit, simply changing what you eat might not get to the bottom of the issue. You may also need to look at other external factors, things like the company you keep, environmental dimensions, and emotional and hormonal factors too. Boy, the hormones really can come into it. I am so proud of one of my clients this week. She shared with me that she is hanging out with a lot of friends who drink a lot of alcohol. And she said, and then it makes me want to drink with them. And then I don't feel good after it. And then I beat myself up the next day because I drank too much with my friends. And I thought, wow, what growth that this person was able to recognize this lifestyle analysis part. So kudos. So maybe you need to check that out as well. So this also includes your physical and mental activity around your lifestyle changes. So to successfully reassess your eating patterns, you have to reassess every aspect of your lifestyle. So it makes so much sense, and yet it's so often overlooked that to have a healthy relationship with food requires you to have healthy relationship with all other aspects of your life as well. So know that one of the things we're going to do is share with you a few more resources around this topic that are going to help you out with great places to learn about nutrition and fitness and mentality and things like that. So stress eating is not recognized as an eating disorder. It can be a significant contributing factor to the symptoms of almost all of them, though. So an acronym, EDNOS, stands for Eating Disorder Not Otherwise Specified. So, they have little procedure codes and diagnosis codes that they put on your insurance papers. Well, that's one of these. And it's a term used to denote that, the varying intensities and scope of those suffering from unhealthy eating habits that don't quite meet the exact criteria for either anorexia nervosa or bulimia or even binge eating disorder. So the ironic thing is that as a disordered eating patterns can actually cause your stress and anxiety levels to rise, becoming even more of a significant contributing factor to any existing issues with food. So for example, if becoming stressed in a situation surrounding food causes you to lose control, so to speak, of your eating entirely and enter in a downward spiral of negative food associations, the stress eating can be seen as a trigger or worsening habits and spiraling negative thoughts of self-worth. Wow, that's some heavy stuff, right? It's one of the things we do in Body Talk is we kind of look at when hormones aren't functioning correctly, our weight metabolism hormones, we look at, is there an epigenetic factor, a lifestyle factor impacting that? Or even an ancestor who maybe was exposed to a situation where food was scarce. Has that created a scenario for you? And so, it's a precariously blurred line that exists between the levels of stress eating and eating disorders. And so it's advisable to seek help for this. Again, this is something we can work with in the Body Talk world. We also have a new tool we're using now, referred to as Brain Tap. We'll share a little bit more about that. It's a very cost-effective way to address some of these concerns. So a huge portion of eating and food-related disorders come about as a direct result of negative body image and inaccurate perceptions of ourselves. So the role that body image plays in beating stress and emotional eating is not immediately obvious. And yet, as we delve deeper and start to understand more about the mind-body connection, we can see how stressors in the physical body directly correlate to stressors in the mind. And this is not news to Body Talk people, by the way. We've seen this connection for a very long time. So while overeating inevitably plays havoc on our digestion and our internal organs and increasing the risk of contracting various diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular difficulties, things like that, it also places a huge amount of stress on our mind. So as we've already discussed, the hormones and enzymes involved in creating the sensation of stress are produced in the brain, and they can be released to the body in response to external triggers or stressors. So when these triggers occur, our actions respond directly to the particular emotions of sadness, guilt, stress, self-hate, all associated with them. So an emotional eating becomes a crutch on which we attempt to redirect attention away from the uncomfortable thoughts or stressors. So we're going to send you a link on a little bit more on that mind-body connection. So exercise should never be used to counteract an episode of stress eating, but it can significantly help with reducing those urges to binge and lose control of food. So when we exercise, we feel good and stronger and are full of positive endorphins. That's why we do it, right? And that shifts the energy around the body instead of leaving it stuck in one place or another. So as with other lifestyle factors that combine to make a balanced, healthy diet more achievable, exercise should ideally be engaged with in moderation and as a complement to a balanced lifestyle. So instead of using exercise to run off excess calories from a period of stress eating, for example, try to distract yourself from stress eating in the first place by engaging in some light form of exercise instead. You see this picture here, and in this picture alone, I believe this particular person looks quite stressed. So if you're one of those people who already has high adrenal stress, high cortisol stress going on, you're going to have weight around the middle until you remove the stressor. Adding more stress like this kind of a stressful exercise doesn't help. So what am I saying? No to exercise? No, not at all. I'm saying walk, swim, do something that's not hard on the body. Something that allows the body still to have movement, but not stress. So if the urge to stress eat comes up upon you at a time when your body's not actually hungry and you've taken a moment to recognize this, the next step is to engage your mind and body with another activity to distract you from these urges. It's about actively working against the observations you make when you keep your food diary, just not merely, noting them and doing nothing. And keep this in mind too, strength and security. So feeling safe and strong and capable comes as a result of regular exercise. And these all happen to be emotions which those who stress eat regularly are lacking in. Stress eating can be viewed as a weakness and as a result of being incapable or unsafe and whatever conflicted emotions the person may be dealing with at the time. So in this way, exercise can prove to be highly beneficial to those hoping to mentally strengthen against the temptation of stress eating. And we're going to share some additional links on exercise and the best kind of exercise for emotional stress eating. So we've been conditioned externally by a vast, ever-growing, and ever-hungry giant that has a huge and relentless impact on all of our senses, not just hunger. And we call it the media. So many food companies, especially mass-produced fast food, use the media as a way to make us believe that their particular kind of food and lifestyle will make us happy. So up until recent years, there was little to no emphasis placed on understanding the link between our food and our happiness. It just assumed that bright colors and catchy ad campaigns would satisfy our need to fit in and to eat to follow the trend. But in terms of how this external presentation affects our mental health, however, the media has direct impact on how we view our eating habits and, more importantly, our bodies. So think about it. If we're being told that eating a Big Mac or a Happy Meal will quite literally make us happy, then surely we're going to believe it and buy as many as we can, right? Not only is this mass-produced and processed food unhealthy, it's also being presented to us in a way that is also now mentally unhealthy. So add this to the equation, the frequency of these mixed messages coming from every angle, and it's no wonder we lose touch with our senses, forgetting to listen and satiate our body's natural need and hunger cues. So while we know it's more likely we'll consume more food if our attention is diverted elsewhere, like TV, social media, etc., it's interesting to consider if it is to blame for emotional eating too. So we'll send you some info on social media triggering eating as well. Well, speaking of triggers, so getting to know your triggers is key if you are to ever overcome or at least manage your emotional eating. There are no specific outlines as to what an individual's triggers can be, as everyone experiences different things. So it can often also be hard to gauge when or how a stress eater will be triggered. Funny, we teach in our Body Talk Access class. It's our class for lay people. It is offered around the country. Actually, it's offered around the world. And this class, one of the things we teach is how food allergies get locked in from these kind of triggers. And yes, I do believe that allergies can be addressed. So anyway, so for this reason, I'm recommending on this trigger thing, taking time while you try to gain control of your eating habits to focus solely on you. So no matter how tempting it might be to surround yourself with people all the time in order to hide your eating issue, or the opposite, complete isolation, the solution to stress eating will not be found in either of these extremes. So become comfortable eating and slowly begin to trust yourself around food again. Trusting your body and its signals it's giving is key. That's one of the ways we can help out with Body Talk sessions, helping you learn how to understand what your body is saying instead of numbing the pain of complicated emotions. So in the end, avoid stress eating, and learning to nourish yourself with balanced, satiating meals is definitely easier said than done. I get it. And you may still slip up from time to time. Busy schedules and unpredictable meal plans happen. But the important thing to be aware of is that this is natural. Not everyone eats 100% healthy 100% of the time. So give yourself a break, please. So by providing your body with balanced, regular portion controlled meals, you'll begin to gain control of your eating patterns, and more importantly, to recognize when you have thoughts or emotions that would previously have resulted in a stress engaging session or a stress eating session. So we're going to share with you some free tools at the end of this presentation that are just phenomenal. They'll give you a chance to try a few things out. So the battle against any food-related issues is not one that can be fought once and never again. Rather, it's a series of decisions made over and over, meal after meal, and hunger cue after hunger cue. So maintaining awareness surrounding your tendencies and habits as you continue to engage with your food is the most mindful way to achieve balance in your eating habits. This can be particularly difficult surrounding elements, environments, or people in your life that may previously have contributed to the stress eating triggers. So it's vital, absolutely vital, that you acknowledge these for what they are and make steps to reduce or remove them. So what triggers or stressors in your life could you start to remove today? So make a note of that. So taking the reins in regard to stress eating is doing more than just ensuring your continued physical health. It's taking control of your mental health too. So when you start to consider the connection between the thoughts you're having, anxiety, stress, sadness, and how they're affecting your body, discomfort, indigestion, and stomach issues, stress eating can seem like a vast and all-encompassing issue. But just as you can change your mind one thought at a time, you can change the way you relate to food one bite at a time. So through mindful eating, journaling, food prepping, speaking openly about your issues, and acknowledging triggers for what they are, you can and will see an improvement. And striving for balance and not perfection is some of the best advice I've ever received. And being aware that recovery is not linear, it's also a humbling realization. So sneak preview for next year's webinars, we are doing one on perfectionism. Just get ready for that. So allow yourself to struggle and find it difficult at first. Be good to yourself, but just be aware that it does get easier. Try to forget all the previous periods of stress eating and start fresh, beginning with your next meal. So, I know this is a sensitive topic, so I want to check in, just, take a note of how you're feeling after all that we've discussed. You might be feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're feeling inspired. Maybe you're ready to tackle this once and for all. And, so if we're able to help you in any way, I'd encourage you to reach out to us because we have a lot of amazing tools to work you through these processes, all together with great success. Now, before I move on to your free gift, our next webinar is January 9th, 8 p.m. Central. And it's not just about weight loss. It's about cultivating awareness that's needed to maintain a healthy lifestyle and habits that lend themselves to losing weight, balancing and understanding our bodies. We are going to have some phenomenal tools. So if you're in town, you'll be able to take advantage of more of the tools. If you're out of town, we still have a free gift for you and a few ideas to help you take advantage of things. And of course, go to accesscompletewellness.com/upcoming events. Our new events are starting to be posted for the new year. And so would like you to go check those out and be sure to register. That's how you will gain access to this free information. So on to our gifts of health. So there's a few things that we have to share with you. Of course, we've been sharing free webinars each month, but we have some tools to help you get on your way to natural and permanent weight loss. So one of them is our free gift. It's our WICO score. That stands for Wellness Index Condition Optimal. It's a bit like your FICO score for credit. And one of the things that we do is when you take this, and we'll tell you how, you'll get an actual score just like the FICO numbers, except it's your WICO score. So it'll be in the, several hundreds, we hope. And you're going to be able to then learn about 15 functional health conditions that may be needing correction and might be keeping you from losing the weight you want. So this is about looking at the root cause, and it could be why you can't lose weight, why you can't keep it off, why you have elevated blood sugar, why your blood pressure or lipids are off. All of these are possibilities as to why you're not successful in the weight reduction realm. So let me tell you how you can take advantage of this. Everybody across the country has access to this part. And let me show you what we're going to share with you. Once you complete this, and I want you to know there are 294 questions. It's very detailed. What we're going to do is you're going to see your score that says, like in this example, 564. And what we're going to do is reach back out to you once you take it. And we're going to share with you the 1 through 15 results that are here and give you some guidance on how you can move to correct this. So again, even if you are not local to our practice, we can help you with this part, and we can help you make corrections in this immediately. And so one thing I want to share, do not sit down and take this 294 question questionnaire unless you have a complete 15 to 20 minutes, or actually 20 to 30 minutes to do it. If you start it and then get up, walk away, you'll lose your answers. So don't do that. So let's keep your stress levels down, right? So here's how you take your free WICO score. So I'm asking you to go take your WICO score today. So go to www.takewico.com. Now you're going to need an access code. Your access code is all capital letters ACW. It is case sensitive, so all caps ACW. I will leave this up for just a second. Again, takewico.com, access code ACW. And if for some reason you don't get this down, reach out to us at info@accesscompletewellness.com, and we will make sure you get what you need. Now, gift number 2. Oh my goodness. I thought we just had one gift. Looks like we have 2 gifts. It's your lucky holiday season. Well, we're talking about the Red 360, and it looks like we're going to give you a Red 360 session. So of course, this does work best for those of you in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you're outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area, this isn't going to be helpful. But it'll help you look years younger with some powerful skin anti-aging effects. By the way, anything I recommend to you is going to have very low, non-invasive impact on the body, just FYI. You'll heal and recover faster than you thought possible, lose fat faster than diet and exercise by itself, eliminate pain and chronic inflammation. You're going to see some digestion changes big time with this. Increase lean muscle mass, increase your energy, optimize brain, reduce cellulite. That's a real plus. Let me show you what this equipment looks like. So we call it the Red 360. It uses LED lights to help you naturally slim, shape, and tone. This is not like liposuction where they suck out the fat cells. That's not good. This is safe. There's no pain. It's affordable. There is no downtime. Absolutely non-invasive. And for those of you who don't believe me, you will lose inches in minutes. So to prove this, we're going to gift you a free session. And you just need to reach out to our office to schedule that. And we will gift that to you. So, wow, what a phenomenal holiday season. I had no idea. Oh, here's some examples of what the new you, well, I don't know what you look like now. It might be better or worse than these pictures. I'm not sure. But anyway, you'll see some of these before and after pictures. You'll even see here's a number of treatments on a few of these folks. So that's actually phenomenal results there. So how do you get your Red 360 session in town? That's the only folks we can do this for. Unless you want to come to Dallas, then you're available to get it. Here's the number, 972-712-0892, or you can go online to accesscompletewellness.com, schedule your free session, and you will lose inches in minutes. Isn't that neat? So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and everything else to you. Well, wait a minute, there's more. I had no idea. Well, I don't know what we have in store. Let me see next. And a brain tap session. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is one of our new tools, ending emotional eating. The brain tap tool is a phenomenal tool that helps with addressing the behaviors and addressing the habits. Maybe you've not been successful with weight reduction in the past. These are some tools. You'll see the device down in the lower left corner. It's using some not only meditation words, but audio, as well as some frequencies are moving through that headset through light technology. That light technology is really neat because it's what they call auricular therapy. Is actually addressing acupuncture points on the ears without the needles. Isn't that neat? And then you see that visor that comes down. For these programs, there's also some light technology being used for addressing the eyes as well. You may not know this, but the eyes, the iris of the eyes has all the different body parts points in them, and that's what that light technology is assisting with as well. So wow, phenomenal. So you all are allowed to take advantage of all three gifts. Any of you that are in town will be able to take advantage of all three gifts more easily. If you're out of town and still would like to take advantage of the Brain Tap, we can share with you how to do that. And if you want to learn more about Brain Tap, go to accesscompletewellness.com, use that /Brain Tap, and you will learn information there. And then, but those of you in town, free Brain Tap session, or anyone who wants to come to Dallas, free Brain Tap session for you for attending this. Wow, amazing. So we are done, but you're just getting started. We gave you lots of great tips today. So please check out everything that we've shared. And what we want to do is be here to support you in the best way possible. We have a lot of new tools. So please feel free to reach out to us and see how we can best support you with your upcoming new year and goals. And here's the way to reach us. If you have questions, you can reach out to us. Again, go to our website, accesscompletewellness.com, and that homepage, all of our new upcoming free webinars are available. If you have questions, you can call us at the number above, 972-712-0892, or you can also reach out to us at info@accesscompletewellness.com. Thank you so much for participating in this presentation. We really appreciate you being here and participating in that. And thank you so much.